Hello and welcome to our September 1st 90-day Blitz. This is the first video that we're recording for it, and I am thrilled that some of you are on. I know that a lot of you are going to end up seeing this as a playback, which is great because this is going to be recorded. Then it will be put onto our brand new YouTube channel. And I will be putting that information out to everybody as soon as the recording is over with. And I just want you to know that we're thrilled that you're here, or that you're rewatching it and you're going to replay it. And hopefully some of this information will be so important to you that you'll replay it over and over and over, and you'll watch it a whole bunch of times. The greatest thing about the 90-day Blitz is we are starting it today. September 1st, 2019 is our first day of our 90-day Blitz. And we are going to be having a lot of goal setting. We're going to have a lot of information so that we can all live our life on purpose. The whole idea behind this is to live on purpose every single day, that we're trying to work towards our goals. We're working towards a deadline. We're working towards improving who we are. We're improving our business. We're improving our family life. We're improving our bank accounts, that we're just working to really completely work on purpose to get where we want to be. And I want you to know that I really believe that if you aren't ready to start today, it's okay, because you know what? We're going to have the information out there. If you recruit somebody new in the next week, it's okay. They'll be able to go on, see this video, see the information, and know what to do and where to go, and then talk to us. And then they'll be able to get on. We will be getting on. I will be getting on, and then we'll have training, and everybody can join us when they can. But every Sunday, we will be on this channel, this Zoom meeting, that will use the same exact number to get to it. We will be on every Sunday at 3 p.m. I will be going through video training, and then it will be up on our new YouTube channel every Sunday. As soon as it's over with, within a very short period of time, I'll be able to have it all loaded in. And I'm excited, I'm thrilled, and we are building the Star Achiever National Area. And the way we're going to do that is by living on purpose. It's about realizing and reaching new dreams, new goals, and in doing it where we feel like we're in a hole. As a whole, we are working. And so I'm going to talk about the setting the goals part, and I want to talk about all of that information in a few minutes. But how I want to begin this is to say, I have watched a lot of information. I have gone through a lot of information, and I listen to videos. I'm constantly trying to know more. I'm constantly trying to improve myself. I'm constantly trying to work so that I can become your national sales director, so that I can become the mentor, the leader that I want to be, that I have envisioned in my brain. I want to be able to leave a legacy, and I want to teach all of us how to do that. And you all teach me, because as you ask questions, if you have challenges, when you have fears to overcome, when you do all of that and we work together on it, it helps me, because the teacher is the best learner. And so I want to pass that on, as Mary Kay always told us we should do. I want to pass it on. So this is what I want to start with, so that you can understand where I'm coming from and how I believe it needs to be done. So if you are currently doing or believing, if what you are currently doing or believing isn't working, it's time to change your thoughts, emotions, and behavior patterns. And that is from the I Can Institute, that I've listened to a whole process that I'm going to talk about that. What you say when you talk to yourself, from Shad Helmstetter, teaches what you put into your mind daily with affirmations is how you change your belief. Zig Ziglar says that you can change who you are and you can change where you are by changing what goes into your mind. So the subconscious mind does not know the difference between positive and negative, true or false. It only believes what it hears. So I'm going to put this up onto our screen. I'm going to share this with so that you can kind of read along as well. I'm going to share this with you guys. So right now you can see what I'm reading, but right here is what I read, all, you know, like right at the top. So I want you to know that repetition over time creates mastery. And this is something that we've heard many, 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 many times about the 21 days. About 21 days is how you break a bad habit, or 21 days is how you form a new habit. And when I read this other information, I was truly amazed right here. 21 days of daily repetition links a new neural pathway or groove into the brain. 6 months of daily repetition creates an expanded comfort zone. 1 year of daily repetition creates life-changing habits. And 7 years of repetition creates mastery and a new complete blueprint. Now, I want you to know that that was something that when I read that, I had to let that sink in for a few minutes, because we've heard over and over about this 21-day thing. And yet we might work with something for 21 days and then we kind of forget what we were doing and we move on. And we're working with a 90-day plan right now, but my goal is to expand that 90-day plan for another 90 days and then another 90 days and get all the way to this 1 year of daily repetition, creating life-changing habits. Like, wow, can you even think about how exciting it is to think that in 1 year, you're still going to be continuing this and you're going to be working with it. We're going to be working together with it so that in 1 year, we're really creating that life that we want. And I know that listening to this information, I was like, wow, with 6 months, look at this. It's with 6 months of listening, talking, and reading our affirmations, we can drastically change our comfort zone. And yes, it takes work, but you're worth it. And so we are really going to work on this for anybody that wants to. Now, some people might not want to work on it. Maybe some people don't want to change where they're at. I'm not sure if you're one of those people or not, but I'm really wanting to change. And I'm really working with this June of 2021 deadline for our national area. And so I personally know that I can't continue doing exactly what I've been doing in the past year even to get that goal as a reality. I know that I've got to do some drastic, on purpose changes. And so no matter how hard you work, you can't out-earn, move up, increase your success of your mental, emotional blueprint. You change your core beliefs that successful women who are earning the big checks and the big success on what they all have in common. Well, when reading these daily, these what we're going to read in a few minutes, and when you read them daily, you will get a breakthrough and you will earn everything that you want and deserve, and allow you to step into an abundance mindset, take the actions to get everything moving again, and make increasing your income something that you can get started on though right now. And your identity is because of your core beliefs, your past beliefs, which are the files in your head, and your personal programming. So let me see if I can move this up a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Okay, so your identity is because of your core beliefs, your past beliefs, files in your head, and your personal programming. You will attract like-minded people. Your current situation is a reflection of your past. And it includes what you heard, saw, and were taught. And your beliefs becomes your thoughts. Your thoughts create emotions, which limit your actions. And then your results will be based on the actions, then you will cycle back around to your core beliefs. And so what happens is, it's kind of like, if you can think of it in like a cycle. So the core belief being at the top of the cycle. And then that is, you know, your whole belief system. And through that, it creates your thoughts. And then your thoughts create your emotions. And then your emotions will create your actions. And your actions then go back up to your core beliefs. And so it just kind of keeps circling around. So if you're kind of like on that hamster on a wheel, and you know you want more, but you just keep going like this and you feel like you're not going forward, it's because you haven't changed your core belief in order to make that happen. And so it's like, you know, the hamster on the wheel, it takes you more into it in that hamster thing. When you keep doing that with the same core beliefs, what happens is you either go more into debt or more into the same, or you will go into a different direction and you'll have more money in your bank, and you'll have more success, you'll have more leads, you'll have everything be more. So the amount of money is, and let me get to the next page here. Okay, in the next page, it says here that the amount of money that you attract and the amount of change that you make is based on your blueprint. You're created in its, your blueprint creates your dominant thoughts and your feelings. So when we change the dominant thoughts, we can change our feelings. And then with our feelings, we change the action and all that kind of stuff that keeps going around. But in the 15 beliefs that we can change, these, I believe, what we need to do are take these beliefs and we need to say them every day, every morning and every night. And I'm going to actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record these before I go to bed tonight. I'm going to record them into either my iPad or my phone. And I'm going to, I just want you to know, I'm going to record those into my iPad or my iPhone. And I'm going to listen to those every morning and every night. Because as you're going to sleep, if you listen to what you're trying to change in your brain and you do it every single day, when I read these, I want you to really think, I want you to really think about them for a minute, because I gotta tell you guys, when I heard these, they were a little different than things that I've heard in the past or affirmations that I've heard in the past. And I'm still gonna have you look at other affirmations based on the goals that you're going to create in a few minutes. I'm going to have you, but I want you to really think about these, because I can't even tell, like, I just sat there like I was having these aha moments. I just sat there going, oh my gosh. Okay, so here we go. The 15 beliefs that we can change. Number 1, I believe I can set and achieve my goals to, oh goodness, there's a word here that isn't, okay. I believe I can set and achieve my goals in advance. Okay, there's an extra word. Okay, I just figured out what's the problem. All right, I believe I can set and achieve my goals in advance, find powerful business builders, and create significant residual income. Number 2, I will do what is required every day to achieve my dreams, including facing fears, doing what is uncomfortable, and retaining my brain until I am living my dream life. Huh. For some reason, that didn't sound right. Can you tell? I like this. Okay. Number 3, I will make sure the blueprint that goes to you with these on it, I'll make sure they're correct. Number 3, I am enough to attract and achieve my goals and dreams. I deserve massive success. I bring great value to the world, and I'm worthy of great wealth and happiness. Number 4, I'm responsible for my own success. No one owes me anything. However, I appreciate everything that comes my way. Number 5, I think big. I intend to make a huge impact on humanity. My vision and my core why drive me into massive action every day. Number 6, I believe that I am bigger than any problem. I can overcome whatever shows up in my life or business. I am unstoppable. Number 7, I have decided to be wildly successful and incredibly wealthy. There is no other option except success. I know I am a living example for others to follow. Number 8, I control my focus. I choose to be optimistic and see opportunity. I never see or talk about obstacles. They do not exist in my world. Number 9, I believe that what I seek is also seeking me. My dream customers and ideal builders are looking for me, hoping that I will find them and give them the solutions that they seek. Each day, I attract more and more of them. Number 10, I admire other successful, wealthy people. I choose to surround myself with those who are ahead of me on this journey. Number 11, I am a pro at putting myself in the energy of receiving. I ask for what I want and need, and then I shift my focus, looking for every opportunity to receive what I'm asking for. Number 12, I always see win-win situations. I am committed to be of great service, and I intend to be well paid. Number 13, I have made fear my friend. I've never heard that before. I can feel it. Silence it, move around it, or move in spite of it. I am confident that my desire, my commitment, and intentions are bigger than any fear. Number 14, I am committed to constant growth, both personally and professionally. And I know my wealth is directly related to how much I grow myself. I am always investing in my own development. Number 15, I am a master at managing my mindset. I get to decide what everything means in my life. I never allow others to define what my life and experiences mean. Wow. And those are different than any affirmations I've ever heard. And what then I want you to know on this paper that I'm going to send to you about this, it says the difference of dominant thoughts. And so back to what I originally was talking about, it's what dominates our brain. And we know that what we say when we talk to ourselves makes all the difference in the world. We know that positive affirmations can mean so much when we are working with trying to change who we are. But these 15 core beliefs, I think, hit deeper than things that I've heard before, because it's all about whether you think that you can receive it. And when it talks about your dominant thoughts, it says, I believe I can set and achieve goals, versus I doubt my ability to achieve my goals. Or I will do what is required every day, versus I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. Or I am enough, versus I compare myself to others and do not feel worthy. I am responsible for my own success, versus I think I need others to be successful. Like you need somebody else to help you be successful. I think big, versus I'm more comfortable thinking small. I believe that I'm bigger than any problem, versus my problems are bigger than me. I have decided to be wildly successful, versus I'm hoping that this will be my big break. I control my focus. I choose to be optimistic, versus I can't control how I feel. I believe that what I seek is seeking me, versus I can't find the leaders that I need. I admire successful and wealthy people, versus I think successful and wealthy people are down the street. They're the ones that have been in the company longer. The successful and wealthy people are the ones who were, had different parents or different education. I put myself in the energy of receiving, versus I keep asking for and not getting the same, and not getting anywhere by asking for the same things over and over and over. I always seek win-win solutions, versus I believe that there can only be one winner. I have made fear my friend, versus fear stops me on a regular basis. I am committed to constant growth, versus I don't have the time and the money to invest in myself. And I am a master at managing my own mindset versus my thoughts are out of control. So when we decide to stop going against the flow and control where we want to go in the next 90 days, then 6 months, then a year, and then 7 years, we will control our complete future. And I loved this information. And it was from a lady that was from the I Can Institute. And I think that it's really amazing. I hope you all do have some paper in front of you. One of the things that I like to do whenever I'm listening to a recording or a training in any way, I like to do this. I'm going to show it to you here. This is called, oh, maybe it's backwards on your screen, but it's action items and brain dump. And I want you to know that if you have a piece of paper and you are taking notes, one of the things that I thought has been very helpful for me is to take, when I'm doing a training or when I'm listening, is to write down action items. So as I'm listening to the information and I go, oh, that's an aha moment. I need to make sure that when this is over with, I do such and such. Write that down under action items. If you are listening to the training and all of a sudden you think about something you need at the grocery store and you're like, oh no, I forgot to get that, or oh no, I got to get that for tomorrow because your mind wanders, then put that under brain dump and hurry up and write it down and then get back to listening to what we're doing, because that brain dump category can be so incredibly helpful when I'm trying to, do things and hear. So, okay. First thing is about those affirmations. I would love, love, love. I'm going to send out in an email to everybody. And if you're listening to this as a playback and you weren't originally in our unit, even maybe when this was originally sent, then what you're going to do is you're going to ask for the affirmations from the 90-day Blitz. You ask me about those, or you ask your director about it, and we'll make sure that you get that. If you're in the Star Achiever area, then we'll make sure you get it, because that is an important document to really understand that. And then as you are writing down your goals, as you're writing down this plan of where you want to be and what you're going to really focus on and give your undivided attention to for the next 90 days, and you're going to try to create the life that you want to create, living on purpose, you're going to have certain things you're working on. So for instance, one person might be working on just being able to not have fear stop them so much. Maybe that's the thing that you really have to work on. And so you're going to have to create a plan that's working with that. Somebody else might be saying, okay, I need to get 10 new recruits this month because I want to go fast and I want to go big and I want to do something and I already feel confident to do that. So everybody's going to start in a different place and everybody's going to end the 90-day Blitz in a different place. We're all going to be working in it from a different angle, and we're all going to be doing our own goals to create the life we're working towards. So just know that some of this information you're going to have to work at for yourself a little bit, because of the fact that we're not going to tell you exactly what to do all the time, but we're going to try to give you a framework with which to work with that. So here's the thing that I want to do. For steps, I'm going to give you 4 things right now that I want you to write down. And there's going to be some steps for creating your life. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to look at what are all the options in all areas of your life. What are you going to commit to? And I'm going to ask you, if you really want to move, I'm going to ask you to get real specific with your goals. Now, you don't have to share them with anybody if you don't want to. But if you want to, then I want you to, like in our little Voxer group that we're going to do, I want you to share some things. If you want guidance, assistance in getting real specific with your goal, like this is what I want, but I'm not sure I know the steps to get there. If that's where you are, then that's where your mentor comes in, whether it's Terry or me or one of the other soon-to-be directors in our national area, whoever it is, then you can ask anybody, but but what we want you to do is ask somebody that's already there. Somebody that's already there, they've already gotten to that level. That's who you want to go to. So here we go. 4 things to look at and examine. And what we have to do whenever we're working with a goal and we're trying to really strategize and we're trying to really get to the information we need. Number 1, you have to start with the end in mind. So what you're going to have to do is figure out like where you really want to be and what you want to do so we can back it up and know where to start, because you got to know where to start. If you don't know where to start, you're not going to know how to get there. And so it's really going to be, you know, how do you get from point A to point B, basically. So number one, out of the 4 things I'm going to show you, number 1, long-term life vision. So if you're going to try to set a goal and work with a goal, you have to have long-term vision. And I want you to think of it like this. It's kind of like when we ask somebody at a skincare class, after they've tried the skincare products, we say to them, so if money were no object, what set would you start with tonight, right? So we're going to transfer that skill into setting goals. Here's how you transfer that skill. If there were no limitations on what I could accomplish, if there's no limitations whatsoever, that I could have truly everything I wanted and I could have the life I wanted, what would that look like? What would you want? So the first thing I want you to think in terms of long-term vision with no limitations whatsoever. All right, then I want you to know that I want you to think of this goal, the situation. I want you to think of it in 8 different, the person I listened to said lanes. I mean, you can think of it in 8 different categories or 8 different ways. I'm gonna read these 8 different ways, and I want you to think about how your life can flow, because what we want is a flow. We want our health and our wealth and our professional goals and our family goals and our spiritual life. We want it to be one continuous flow, rather than thinking of everything so disjointed, if you will. Because if we're really trying to make a change personally, it's got to connect everything. And so, and when I talk about the goals, okay, so write this down. 20 years, in 20 years, which can be a lifetime, 20 years, in 20 years, what would I love to see that I personally created, accomplished, left a legacy about, all those areas. And then we're going to think of in 1 year, and then you can do like a 10-year and a 5-year. You can break it down into different levels. And then I want you to put in big parentheses, though, 90 days, because of course, where do you want to be totally at the end of this 90 days? Like, what do you want to do? But since we want to live past these 90 days and we want to live into this next year of creating this cycle of new habits, you know, I really want you to think about it in the terms of like, what do you need to do to actually create this whole process so that you do it? So okay, so now here's the 8 lanes. You ready? 8 lanes. Number 1, spiritual. Number 2, family. Number 3, career/professional. Number 4, personal growth. Number 5, physical health. Then the next one's financial health. 7 is either social life. Your social life, I want you to put /adventures, because some people, their social life includes being real active in the community. Their social life means that they go out to dinner with their friends every week, and they have couples things that they go to, and they go to parties all the time or whatever. I mean, they have a real social life. And other people are more stay-at-home people, but they like to go on adventures. And so kind of think of it either way, that way. And then the number 8 is philanthropy. I think I just said that wrong. So how can you be in your community, if you will? And how can you, and maybe put / community, because it's like, how can you do things within your community to make a difference? And I know for me personally, for instance, I loved being very active in my community. I love being known in my community for helping for things. And for a long time, I was very active in my community. And when I talk about that flow, what I realized was I was so active in my community, trying to meet people and do things. I was like so active in the community that I ended up having so much focus on that. I fooled myself into believing that it was helping me meet new people enough where it was not interfering with my business. But I can tell you as a fact that during those 10 years that I was very active in my community, I didn't meet enough new people that I couldn't have met anyway to make the business work. And because I've heard so many times that when you say yes to this, you have to say no to something else. And for every action, there's a reaction. And so even though I fooled myself during those 10 years, those were the only 10 years out of my career since I earned my very first car that I didn't drive a free car in Mary Kay. It also made it so I didn't advance in Mary Kay. So the minute I stopped being so involved in my community in an unbalanced manner, that's when I got my free car again. And you know what? Everybody in the community still thought I was active. They still thought I was there. I still was in front of my customers. I was still meeting people. So there's you got to be careful not to fool yourself. Okay. So one of the things that you have to do is write all these things out. So I want you to take your paper, if you will, and do 1 through 8 this way. And then across the top of the paper, what you can put is like the year, the time frame. So for instance, you could do 90 days, you can do 1 year, you can do the 20-year one first if you want. Like if there was absolutely no limitations of what I want, I would do that, and then you can break it down and go less. And so it's really thinking about like, where do you want to be? Okay, now you're going to list all the things out. Oh, excuse me. Okay, that was number 1 on this 4-point plan. Number 1, the long-term vision, taking your 8 lanes, writing it all out, and really getting crazy specific. Number 2, then do another list of all the things that you think are holding you back from creating the life in your dream and the type of life that you want. What is holding you back from getting what you dream about, basically? Number 3, ask yourself, what do you think that you want from yourself within the next 90 days? So what do you think you want for you in the next 90 days? What's important? And then number 4, clearly state your area of focus for the 90-day blitz. So this 90-day blitz is what we're talking about, and it's what we're going to focus on, and it's all about setting your goals. It's all about tracking your progress. It's all about exactly what you want, where you want to be, and getting real specific about it. Now, I know for some of us, that can get really like almost scary, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I've ever thought about everything like that. But if you were to get pictures out, for instance, and you start like looking through whatever, and I want you to think about like, how would you describe the perfect day? How would you describe your perfect life? How would you describe your dream home, your dream vacations, your what you give to other people, the legacy that you leave? What do you want people to say about you at the end of the day? And are you working to be the type of person that people go, I would like to emulate you? And just know that you can't make everybody happy and that you're not everybody's cup of tea. And that we're working with people who are introverts, we're working with people who are extroverts. We're working with people who lived in an entrepreneurial family, and you're working with people who lived in a traditional family where their parents worked a 9-to-5 job and punched the time clock and always worked for someone else. We are working with people who have college educations, no college educations, high self-esteem. They're really working on the self-esteem issue. So some people have a lot of confidence right out the gate and other people didn't. And so everything that has happened in our past is who we are today. But we can change where we're going, and we can change the whole idea about where we want to be by changing what goes into our mind on a daily basis, and we're working with that. So I wanted to start with all of that first. And again, if you have questions about all that, then please, 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 we're going to open it up for a few questions at the end, or also we can just, you can ask them afterwards. So, okay. So our goal with this 90-day plan is to track our progress, to move towards our goals somehow, that we going to live on purpose, build our confidence, and we're going to be willing to work hard at it. Work hard every day at this because we're worth it, number one. And number two, you're going to be reading affirmations, you're going to be setting goals, you're going to be booking new appointments, you're going to work this business, this Mary Kay business on purpose. But just know that, again, if we're not balanced, if you will, in working on it as a whole, it's that, I believe, is the reason we go with our goals. Like, we set a goal and we work towards it, and then all of a sudden we hit that goal, and then all of a sudden we're like, okay, now what do we do? And then let's go for the goal again, and then okay, now what do we do? And then you're just constantly doing this instead of feeling like you're flowing into the evolution of who you want to be. And so okay, now one of the other things that we're going to talk about is about getting names and getting bookings, because if we're going to really work this business, let's just be real. If we don't have names and we don't have bookings, we don't really have a business, and we're definitely not going to grow the business. And again, I believe we're working with all the different personality types. And those are some of the things we're going to be talking about too, is like the DISC program. We're going to be talking about addressing conflict a little bit, but we're also going to be talking about bookings and coaching and recruiting and all the things that we have to learn how to do. And if you have been using, or if you've seen our training books, or if you've been using them at all, you know that we've got all the different things in the book. There's a whole list that you can, as you learn it, you can check it off. Learn it, check it off. Learn it, check it off. And so that's really great, because that you can, it's a way to see your progress, and it's a way to see what you're doing every day. And I want you to think, I'm like so geeked about this 90-day plan. And the reason I'm geeked about it is because there's things that I've been wanting to do, and I haven't been doing them, and I haven't been working on purpose every day with an accountability factor of working with you guys in that sense. And so, like, I'm just looking at things like, I know this is going to sound silly, but I'm looking at working with a weekly plan sheet and having a little checklist, if you will, for myself, that I'm up by a certain time every day, that I go to bed at a certain time, that as soon as I get up, I make my bed. As soon as, and I'm tracking how many glasses of water I'm drinking. I'm tracking whether I made healthy choices with my food. I want to exercise every day. I was just told that I had my checkup and I was told you're normal with everything except you have high cholesterol. And they told me to work on my diet. And I'm like, I have celiac disease. I don't eat the things that cause high cholesterol. So she just went, oh yeah, that's right. And she said, are you exercising? And I went, I want to. I think about it and I know it's a really good thing, but I'm not doing it every day. So it's just like, and I said, if I were to just walk for a half hour every day, would that count as my exercise? And she said, absolutely. I'm like, I can do that. I can walk for a half hour every day. And if it's raining outside, I guess I got to figure out how I can walk around my house and make myself not stop for a half hour. And I bet you if I got the Swiffer in my hand, I could even make it worthwhile and clean. Okay. So here's the thing. Now let's talk about bookings. In order to get the bookings, we have to have names. And one of the things that we need to do is realize that there are lots of different ways to work this business, and that when we have enough names, that it makes it easier. Because I could say to you guys now, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. To make the 90 days work, here's what we got to do. We got to everybody get on the phone and call 10 to 20 people every single day. Now, if you're brand new or you're a real introvert, and I tell you that, you're going to go, what? Like, I can't do Mary Kay then. I can't even do Mary Kay then. If I got to get on the phone and call people and talk to 20, number one, I don't even know that many people. So it would take me all of one day, and then I'd be done with all the names I have. And you're like, what? So then the thought of walking up to a stranger and going and offer them a compliment and say, oh, I just love the way you do your eye makeup, or oh, I just love your haircut, and start talking with them. And then I tell you, okay, and then get their name and then get their phone number and then do this and do that. And you're like, I'm totally freaking out. Like, I can't even do that because I just couldn't even say that. And I get that. I understand that. Now, I grew up with a father who was very extrovert, very much an extrovert. He had friends everywhere. In fact, I mean, to be honest with you, the man had 1,000 people at his funeral. Like, it was huge. It was unbelievable. And everybody that didn't even include all of our family. I mean, there were a lot of people that couldn't come to the funeral. But I know that over the course of the stuff, he had over 1,000 people at his funeral. It's because he knew everybody. And so that was remember the past? That was my past. Everywhere we went, he talked to people, we talked to people, we had and so to talk to people is not a thing for me. That's not a hard thing, because my dad just kind of taught me, like, everybody can be a friend, you just have to talk to them. And my dad also taught me that if I wanted friends, that I had to be a friend. I mean, he told me that one day. He said, Jan, if you want friends, you have to be a friend. So that means I had to learn how to be a friend. And sometimes that doesn't come natural to everybody. And if you grew up in a home where everybody was introverted and they didn't go out and socialize a lot, and you didn't have this and you didn't have a way to, and I don't even want to say it's self-esteem, because it's not really self-esteem that was my normal. That's what I lived. And so I realized that everybody didn't have the same normal as I did. So everybody has to do it different. So it's not that I'm different in that sense, or it wasn't even like a formal education that taught me that or anything. It was just, that's how it was. So when I got into Mary Kay and I started building my business with Mary Kay, and they said, well, take your business cards, have your business cards, get dressed up, put your makeup on, put your hair on, and go out. And when you're at places, like, say, oh, compliment the person, and then hand them a business card and say, whatever, I'd love to offer my business card, and I'm with Mary Kay, are familiar with our products. Like, that they told me to do that, and I go, okay, I can do that. And that's, my dad always did anyway, so yeah, okay, I learned how to do that. So you go do that. Well, for somebody who never had a father like I did and grown up like I did, that could be so foreign and so scary that they're like, well, then I can't do Mary Kay. And what helped me learn that was believe it or not, this is what helped me learn it. I listened to Michelle Cunningham, who is a pink Cadillac driving executive senior sales director with Mary Kay. And she said, I was an introvert so much that I was in Mary Kay for 6 years and didn't tell anybody. But she stayed in the company 6 years, but she didn't tell anybody. And she said she would go to trainings and they would say, yeah, just hand out your business card and say this. And she would be going, no, I can't say that. I can't do that. And so she then figured out, you know, like she heard this other director talk and the other director was like, well, I can't do that either. So this is what I do. And she went, oh, well, then I could do that. So it's like, this is not a one size fit all. There's all kinds of ideas that we can put out there. And if you're willing to go outside of your comfort zone just a little bit, step by step, then you're going to be able to move and do something. So, names. The first thing I want to say is if you have 5 people, you don't have to come up with 150 wedding lists like Linda Tupin talks about. If you don't know that many people, then do you know 5? Just 5. If you can come up with 5 names, then write them on a list. And then what you'll do is you will, we'll teach you how to go from there. However, only 5 names, if each one of those names gives you 5, you then have 25, and then you can build on that. But if you want to build faster than that, and you really want to make more money than that faster, then we've got to partner together. We've got to work together on how to get all those new names. Because if you can't rely on your family and friends. You can't rely on them for anything past the beginning. What you can ask them is if they know 5 people that you don't know that they could refer, then you can do that. So you have to have the 5 to start with, and it can be family and friends, but it could be somebody that you're working with that makes you comfortable. I don't know, maybe somebody you work with, maybe it's a lady at the doctor's office that's always really nice to you, or the dentist office or something, but 5 names. Okay, then we have to work with different ways to get new names. Now I'm going to talk about a couple things. One is called chocolate and flowers. We put chocolate, the little ones that are like, I don't know, the better chocolate. Can't think of the name of it right now that I want to say, but anyway, a chocolate. And then you get some carnations, cheap. If you got a Sam's, we got a Sam's. They got the little teeny carnations, and you can get a big bundle, and it's all cool. You put them in a basket. We have these little slips that we put in the basket. We take ink pens with us, and then what we do is we go into an office of some kind. And of course, if you're a real introvert, I would say let one of us go with you. If you are cool going on your own, go do it. And we'll get you the stuff and you just go do it. And so what you do is you walk in and we basically would start out and you would hear, me go, hi, I'm Jan and this is Susie and we're with Mary Kay and we are honoring working women today. And so we're giving away chocolate and flowers. Would you like some? And you would not believe the conversations that get started with that. And then we say, and by the way, we're having a drawing at the end of the day for some free product. Would you like to enter our drawing? If they say yes, then we give them the slip and have them fill it out. If I walk up to the desk and I only see one person, but it looks like more people work there, then what I'll do is I will say, oh, do you have more people that work here? Would they like some chocolate and flowers too? And then, we've had people, there was a lady that was like down the hall and over, and she heard us say chocolate and flowers, and she came flying out of there, and she's like, oh, are you giving away chocolate? And we're like, yeah, you want some? And they're like, yeah. And then it was like, oh, we're with Mary Kay, and they're like, oh yeah, and like, just like, they're like, woo, 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 and it's just kind of funny. And then there's other offices that we walked into, and they've been kind of reserved, and there's only 2 of us, and it's like, well, would you like chocolate and flowers? And they're like, sure. And it's like, well, we're going to have this drawing at the end of the day. Would you like some or would you like to enter our drawing? And the one says, well, I never win anything. And then the phone rang, and she got on the phone, and then the other one says, I said, well, would you like to go ahead and enter our drawing? And she goes, sure. And I goes, well, if you want to just put her phone or her information down, we'll get her in the drawing too. And she says like, yeah, it's okay. So we got both of them in. And when we walked out of that office, I take the slips and I write on the back of the slip what the name of the office was and something about that will trigger my mind. So when I talk to that person, and it was funny because I put on there, make her a winner, because she said, I don't win anything. So I'm like, make her the winner, because she needs to win something, right? So she'll feel great. And so we just do things like that. So we'll take you out and show you how to do it. And another thing that you can do is on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, it's a way to just put something out there and not have to talk to anybody yet. And basically it's called Office of the Week, or you can just do Business of the Week or Office of the Week. And what you do is then you would have to take them some donuts or cookies, and then you could take samples into them and get their name and then put them in a drawing for something. And then you do that. There is lots of different ways to get names. The one thing you got to do, though, is be willing to talk to them in some way. But one of the things that you can do is, with some people with names, if you've got Facebook and you've got, this is what people say, well, I don't have any friends. And then I look on their Facebook and they have 350 friends on Facebook. It's like, wait a minute, I thought you said you didn't have any friends. You got friends on Facebook. So it was kind of like, you got friends. And but what it is that they're not close companions that they do something with. So everybody has a different definition of friends. That's what I figured out. Because some people say, well, I don't have any friends. Well, I saw on Facebook you were out to dinner with like 6 women the other night. How can you not have any friends, right? Or they say, I don't have any friends, and they have 350 friends on their Facebook thing. But see, what it is everybody thinks what friends is. They think of it differently. So what we can show you then how to send messages out, and also text messages out to people you do have in your phone to start the conversation to get things rolling. Okay, so names. If you don't have enough names, talk to us and let us teach you or take you step by step of how to get more names. And I know I've just given you some explanation, but it's like, what are you willing to do? Because you can also put facial boxes. There's many different ways to put facial boxes. You can put them in a business, and you can make a little actual box. Some people will put in just like a clear acrylic stand-up stand. They'll put in, and it will be like text, blah, 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 to your number. And when they text that to the number, then you'll know which business they were at. And then you can, they'll text you saying they want a charcoal makeover or whatever. And then that's how you can get the appointment set. And so there's lots and lots of different ways to actually get the names. Then once you get the names, then we get into the bookings. Once you're holding bookings, that's how you get more names, is when you're one-on-one and in front of people. That's how you can get more names. Like every time you do a facial, every time you do a skincare class, getting referrals. We have a sheet. Now this sheet, I'm going to hold it up here. Let's see if you can see it. This is a sheet that it printed bigger than, I don't know why it printed so big. I just hit print and it printed it really big. But it wouldn't print quite this big. And what you do with a sheet like this is you tape it on the back of a lookbook, and then you give it to a friend to take into work. And basically it just says, take orders for 10 items. Take orders for 10 items. It's just got 1 through 10 on it. 10 items. Just try to sell 10 items. Plus, and you would write in 6% sales tax for Michigan, plus $2 per customer for shipping and handling. And when all 10 items are turned in with payment, we'll draw a number from 1 to 10, and that item on that line will get, the person will get that item for 50% off. All orders must be turned into your consultant within 5 days of the challenge, and orders will be delivered 5 days after. Orders are turned into a beauty consultant. Of course, you can, of course, get the orders delivered if you have product on hand the next day. All right. So this is a way to give a lookbook thing, or to do outside orders and not have it be cumbersome. Because one of the things that I think of is when I give somebody a packet for with a lookbook, try to get outside orders. If they have to have a whole packet and they're trying to like sneak it around the office and have people look at it, it's not very sneaky when they have to open this packet up and do all this thing. And I heard a term called loaded lookbook, and I still don't know quite what that is. I never did get to see exactly what was in a loaded lookbook, but I feel like I just had a thought. I feel like it would be cumbersome. However, I just thought of this. For instance, like let's say in the lookbook, there's a glamour look. Maybe this is a way they can do a loaded lookbook. In the glamour look, you could tape or glue in on that page, like say it's got 3 eyeshadows. You could tape the real paper eyeshadow thing with the lipstick and the blush on there, like it shows their look. And rather than just seeing it paper color wise, they would see it like actual color wise, like the product. Shake your head if that makes sense to me. Somebody shake their head. Okay. And that's how it could be loaded. Okay. But you want it where it's only the lookbook. And if you have just the lookbook and you've got this sheet taped to the back of it, they don't have to have extra sheets of paper. And if they are really good and they want to get more free, then you could give them 2 different lookbooks and sell 10 items out of each lookbook, you know, or 3 lookbooks, and then they could sell 30 items, you know what I mean? You know, so you can do it that way. But that way the person looking through the lookbook can write their name right on the back of the lookbook and then pass it along. And I think that's less cumbersome than when, you know, you give them the outside order sheets and all those extra papers and a lookbook, and it all has to go into a folder and a this and a that, and it's like, well, that's too much to take care of. Okay. And then we were talking about like, remember when we used to do all the new products and we would put them in a travel roll-up bag, and then we'd have a little sheet when we would go do they would just be the little 15-minute appointments or whatever, or you have it with you all the time and you're showing people, hey, what do you think of this? And every time you make a delivery, you pull that new one out, and everything's compact, that's new. It's in a travel roll-up bag, so you get to show that off some more, and then you get to do. And then there's an online Facebook party. I have just found out about this online Facebook party that is training by Michelle Cunningham that I believe is the best I've ever seen as far as a Facebook live skincare class and how she does it. So I don't want to take the time right now to go through the whole thing, but I am going to Terry's listened to it as well. Terry's on this call, so I'm going to bring Terry up in a minute, and I'm going to have her talk about how she gets referrals when she's doing skincare classes, what she, like, her feeling about how it works best to get referrals. And then also about that online Facebook party that we were talking about, because Terry listened to that recording also as well as I am. And so I'm going to wrap my part up right now with this, that as far as moving your business forward, it's definitely, you have to have more names. And I've just been reading some things with some other directors and some things, and I want you, like, all of a sudden I went, wow, I'm not sure I'm doing enough business. I sure could be making a whole lot more with my personal business. And that's why this 90-day thing is so important to me, is because my personal business is going to get amped up. And because I'm going to work on purpose, because I'm realizing that the 21-day booking script we talk about getting referrals. We talk about call this many people per day. And I'm going to tell you that I realize that we've been talking about that, but we haven't shown you enough and encouraged you enough to get lots more names. Because I'm telling you, some of these women we're talking thousands of names that they're working with. And I can't even, like, I'm not sure I'm working with 1,000 names right now, but I want to be, and I want to be moving more, because the way that we get 10 and 20 and 30 recruits in a month, the way we make that happen is by getting a lot of names and working with that. And I want you to know that nothing has to be slow in this business. It really doesn't. And it can be fast. And I want you to know that there was a director who I have information on, and I'm trying to find it as quickly as I can. Okay. And I want you to hear this. She signed her beauty consultant agreement in May of 03. In July of 03, she attended an event as a red jacket. So May, June, July. 3 months later, she attended as a red jacket. And then October of that year, she attended a retreat and made a decision. And in November, so May, June, July, August, September, October, November, she started DIQ. In November, her DIQ team did 8,000 in production. In December, they did 6,000 production. In January, they did $30,000 in production. And so in November, she started DIQ. In January of 2004, she finished Grand Achiever, which is the car. February, the next month, she debuted as a sales director with 38 unit members. 38 unit members in February of 04. By March of 04, they earned the use of their Cadillac because they had a $30,000 month in January, and of course, February, March were great. Okay, then in June, so 3 months later, they finished 500,000, and she had 171 unit members. So she went from February of 04 of 38 unit members, February, March, April, May, June, 5 months, she went from 38 to 171 unit members. So I want you to know that this business can be fast, and it can go fast, but you got to be talking to a lot of people. But it doesn't mean that everybody's going to do it that way, and if you don't, it's okay. It's just that I want you to know that we truly can think as big as we want to think. We can move as fast as we want to move. We can set goals to be huge and go fast if we're willing to work for it. So at this time, I want to unmute Terry. Terry, I'm going to have you come on, and I want you to share what I just said to you a little minute ago. I'm going to unmute you. Oops. Okay. So go ahead, Terry. You're on.
Okay. Referrals. My thing that I always do with referrals is I always say, the greatest compliment you can give me is to refer me to your friends and family. And so I always make sure that it doesn't matter who I meet, if it's at a party or if it's at a experience, or if it's just somebody that I meet along the road somewhere. I was like, you know, they can refer me to people. That's what I do. And that was what things that I really wanted to, was the referrals. And I get a lot of referrals that way. It's just by compliments, and they can compliment me back by referring their names. Muffins and I do muffins on Monday, and I try to do that once a month, and I've done it. I missed a couple months because I was busy, and I got to get back to that. But muffins on Monday was a lot of fun. It's kind of like the flowers and chocolate thing, but I took in muffins on a Monday to an office, and they had a lot of fun with that. I did Spring Arbor University, and oh, those ladies were fun. Big things I wrote down: follow-up. Follow-up is key. When we get all these names, the hardest thing is to follow up. So ask Jan or I for a script or the words to follow up, because that's the hardest part I have found. And if we do follow up with them, then it's in the bag. They love us. I got to go back to doing that roll-up bag. I'm glad we brought that up, because that was a huge business right there. And it's probably been a year since I put together a roll-up bag. And so, yeah, those were my thoughts right now. And it's exciting. I'm excited about this 90-day blitz. I'm excited to see where people's lives go. I'm excited to see our growth in our units. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I am very excited about this. So,
awesome, Terry. Awesome. And you know, you have been extremely successful, in my opinion, with getting referrals. And when you said that it's, you know, like people giving you 5 names, sometimes that's just not as scary as other things. You know, it's not as scary. And I know we have a thing called the Fabulous Referral Game, and there are different ways to get referrals at the party. And one of the things that when you said that, it reminded me of my story I have about Juanita Ellis. And Juanita Ellis was a very successful, she was a very, very successful director in Mary Kay. She was always in the top 3 for like years, me going to seminars. She was in the top 3 of sales, Cordis sales. And I sat next to her one day, and it was like, okay, Juanita Ellis, what do you do? Like, how do you do that? And she said she only holds facials. She only held individual facials at her home. She held them all at her home, and she would do an individual facial, and she would have them booked one after the other after the other. She would do however many she could do in the day. Like if she could do 2 or 3 in the day, or if she could do 5 in the day, she would have like 5 clean trays sitting there. She would put one tray at the table, and when that person was done, she'd put that tray in the dirty pile, put the other tray in front. She was ready for the next person, and she just did them one after the other. And I said, but how did you get all the names if you never left your house? How did you get the names? And she said, well, she said, what I would do is I would tell the person that was sitting there, if they would give me 5 names of people I could facial, they could pick out a free, now she gave free cologne. Like she bought lots of colognes, and you can get a free cologne if you give me 5 names. And so it was interesting when you said that about the 5, if you just do the 5, because 5 good names is a whole lot better than 20 that they're just rattling off and they know the person's never going to enjoy the facial or like the facial, whatever. So I think it's really, we got to be careful how we ask for those referrals. Like, you know, who would like to get pampered? Who would you like to treat to something? And I think the way we ask it is important. And so, you know, I think that could be a really important feature. And so, okay, Terry, I want to unmute you one more time. I wanted you just to share one other thing. Like, I don't know if I you know, I always just ask for your takeaway, but kind of like with this goal setting part of it and the affirmation part, share with us what you think really hit you, or if anything hit you different than you would. So go ahead.
Okay, fear is not my friend. So when you said fear is my friend, that's a different way of thinking about it. And in April, my whole focus was busting fear and getting past that fear. And I read fear in the Bible. I read about fear. I did devotions on fear. I listened to songs about crushing fear. And so thinking of fear that way, when you wrapped it up with the different parts of fear, that made more sense than it being a friend. And I don't want to have coffee with a friend, with a fear. And so when I was thinking of fear being a friend, that was my thought was, oh, I don't want to do that. So, but the way you put it in the end made more sense. And those affirmations, I think, are huge. I don't know that I could do 15 at once. Maybe I would do 5 and then 5 and then 5 and build on it, than to do all 15 at once. That's just very overwhelming for me. But those are huge to do, even if it's the 15 and you shorten them. It's 15 that's going to change your life. And that's important. That's my takeaway. I loved it. I'm excited.
Thank you. Okay. And you know, here's the thing that I found is that if I record them and just listen, if I just calm myself in the morning and listen to them, I can listen to that many. better when I'm going to sleep at night, if I let that positive stuff like go into my brain and, and work that way, that it's putting all of it in there together, but I could focus on 5, but really get them in my brain to start with. But it's thinking about how to break that down and focus on what we want to focus on. So thank you. And Kim, I know you're still on here, and I just wondered, shake your head if you would like to get on and say something. If you would like to do that, shake your head, yes, please, and so that I know. And okay, I'm gonna unmute you, and you're on now.
Did I shake my head?
I thought so.
I was laughing.
Oh, I couldn't. It looked like you were shaking your head. I'm sorry. So would you like to share?
Sure. Oh, okay. So the big thing for me was getting back to affirmations, because I used to do affirmations when I was working and I was in the car, and I'd say them every morning when I went to work. So now I just need to get back to doing that, now that I'm home and not working that stressful job. And then just having you broke down the 8 different lanes. I've kind of started that. I have 3. So mine was more personal, is in physical, and then spiritual and business. So I'll have to take a look at those other 5 and see if there's something in there that I can tweak. So yeah. So I'm excited to get on a schedule and, stick to it. So.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'm really, really, really excited about this too. And I'm very excited about having our YouTube channel and our the process of this all coming together, and what we're doing with it. And I might even make some recordings in between the Sundays just for some additional, because I have a lot of training that I want to get on the videos. And so there are some other trainings that I might have on that. And but I will be on live every Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. And the one thing that I just was looking to see, we're already at 4:30, so this has been an hour and a half training, which the greatest thing is people can go on and listen how much as they want. So I just want you all to know that we're building, we're working it, and that as soon as we can have everybody improve and move forward, that it's a step-by-step process, and I'm loving it, and I'm really looking forward to making this an exciting month. And I am going to add this on, although this will be seen other times besides September, but I'm just going to say beware of this September. This September of 2019 is the 56th anniversary of Mary Kay, and there's going to be a whole lot of things about 56 that we're going to be working towards, and so be really paying attention to that. So have an awesome day, and thank you for listening.